Even Republicans admit it is an uphill battle, but the president is on the stump just the same. Last night in Florida, Mr. Nixon appeared at a Miami Beach rally for Governor Claude Kirk and Representative William Kramer. Both men face stiff challenges next Tuesday. The president makes 2 more Florida stops today before heading for Texas. All along the way, Mr. Nixon stresses his need for more Republican support in Congress if he's to get his programs through. At the United Nations today, the war of words continues over the Middle East. So far, Arab spokesmen have spouted a lot of rhetoric about the Middle East situation, thoroughly laced with charges against both the United States and Israel. But the Arabs have yet to establish any sense of direction. Because of this, the U.S. delegation doesn't really know what course to plot. It's expected that our ambassador, Charles Yost, will speak, but not until after the true course of that debate is established. In Egypt, newly installed President Anwar Sadat has made his most critical comments of the United States since he took office. He called U.S. efforts in the Middle East intervention and intimidation, and he vows that Egypt will win back all of the land it lost in the 1967 war with Israel. Activity in Indochina is picking up. U.S. B-52 bombers have increased their attacks on infiltration routes through Laos. A buildup of North Vietnamese strength is reported in the northern portion of South Vietnam, and a Cambodian report says that up to a division of fresh communist troops is in Cambodia, bent on holding back a government offensive that's due to be launched next week. Meanwhile, the flap over the awarding of a Silver Star and another medal to a general in the 1st Air Cavalry Division goes on. That furor came to light when some enlisted men said they had been ordered to dream up the citation for the general. Bob Schaefer has further details on the story.
The Army is taking both medals back, but groundwork is already being laid to give the general some new ones. Commanders here contend they know few details. They say the matter is being handled at lower echelons in Saigon. Behind the scenes, it's a different story. Hot cables have gone back and forth between Washington and Saigon. The Army's senior officers feel the incident has done untold damage to the Army image, and their thinking reflects 2 things. The embarrassment to the Army will not go unpunished, but the blame will not be pinned on the general. Senior officers here contend the general was sandbagged by his own friends, done in by those who thought they were doing him a favor. They contend that General Forrester knew nothing of how the awards came about. So the plan here is continue the investigation to find out how many people are involved in the so-called administrative irregularities which caused the incident and take action where necessary. Then, after the fuss dies down, recommend the general for some new medals, but this time base them on fact rather than fiction. Bob Schaefer, CBS News, Washington.
2 other American generals are still in the news, but for a much different reason. The 2, including Brigadier General Claude McQuarrie from Georgia, are being held by Russia near the Turkish border. The 2 were in a light plane that strayed into Soviet territory last week. The Russians are using them as pawns in a bargaining contest with the Turkish government. The Soviets want 2 sets of airplane hijackers returned. They are baiting their request with the American hostages. Police in Montreal, Canada, have received 2 communications that claim to be from the Quebec Liberationists, but they say that one is probably a hoax. That one told police they would find the body of British trade official James Cross on an island north of Montreal, but a search came up with nothing. Cross has been in his abductor's hands more than 3 weeks, and his prospects don't look good. The search for him continues, but police admit they have no clues to go on. I'll have state and local news in a moment.
Belk salutes your budget. Save your American dollar. Celebrate while you save now during Belk Day sale. Talented double knit pantsuits for women on the go, $22.88. Made of Fortrell polyester, easy upkeep. Lean pants, lanky tops, rich colors, right textures. The now look in Machine Care Celanese Fortrell, and you save over $5 at your nearest Belk.
It's a Harvest of Best Brand sale.
It's an 88-cent sale.
It's an 88-cent Harvest of Best Brand sale at Winn-Dixie. Come on in and see what 88 cents will buy.
Come save at our 88-cent Harvest of Best Brand sale.
Come get Colonial Sugar at a saving. The 5-pound bag, 28 cents. Why pay more?
Here's Crisco shortening at a saving. The 3-pound can of Crisco, 58 cents. Why pay more?
Why pay more when you don't have to? Now there's Winn-Dixie with everyday low prices and specials that are good all week long. Shouldn't you be shopping Winn-Dixie?
Shouldn't you be saving with WD brand U.S. choice beef? These boneless Delmonico steaks are just $1.48 a pound.
Why pay more for pork chops? Winn-Dixie has fresh quarter pork loin sliced into chops. Yours this week for just 59 cents a pound.
When it's Harvest Fresh Golden Corn from Winn-Dixie, you know it's good. And at 9 ears for 59 cents, you know it's a saving.
Stock up now and save during Winn-Dixie's 88-cent Harvest of Best Brand sale. Why pay more when Winn-Dixie gives you lower discount prices? Specials that are good all week long. Shouldn't you be shopping Winn-Dixie?
At Fort McPherson here in Atlanta today, a young Vietnam veteran, one of 10 soldiers charged in the alleged My Lai massacre, today filed war crime charges against America's Vietnam commander, General Creighton Abrams. A full report from TV5's David Gay.
The war crime charges against General Abrams were signed by Sergeant Ezekiel Torres. Torres is one of the soldiers charged with taking part in the alleged My Lai massacre. Torres charges that on August 10, 1968, General Abrams stood by and watched as his men applied water torture treatment to some Vietnamese civilians at the village of Trung Lu. He said that water torture treatment is a violation of international law and that General Abrams made no move to stop his men. Copies of the charges were sent to the Secretary of the Army and Army Chief of Staff, William Westmoreland. The charges were drawn up by Torres' attorney, Charlie Waltner. Waltner said that he hoped the Army would stop shifting the blame of such incidents on 18 and 19-year-old soldiers and instead hold the commanding officers responsible. From downtown Atlanta, this is David Gay for TV5 News.
Well, as the result of a meeting between some residents of the 10th Street hippie area and top Atlanta police officials, it now appears that better lines of communication may have been opened. The meeting was arranged by the Community Relations Commission, and CRC Director Nat Welsh talked with TV5's Emmanuel Hall about last night's meeting.
We had a 2-hour dialogue session this afternoon. And I think there was some real frankness and straightforwardness and discussing the problems and what each could do to cooperate with the other to improve law enforcement in the tight squeeze area.
What were some of the major complaints of the tight squeeze residents?
Well, the over-policing, the drug problem, the need for the enforcement of drug laws, both marijuana and hard drugs. There was concern felt that by the hippies, the people that aren't here, they said, were the old widows, and we feel for them, and we want better law enforcement in the area.
When that session ended yesterday, Police Chief Herbert Jenkins would not comment, but it is understood that for the first time both sides seemed to understand the other's problems a little bit better, and that the chief was considering the possibility of shaking up his 10th Street personnel currently assigned to that area. The Georgia legislature established a Governor's Award for Heroism this year. It's designed to honor citizens who perform acts of selfless valor here in Georgia. The idea of that award was born on August 6, 1968, when, for the heroic efforts of citizens, Tom Glanton would have died in a flaming wreck near Culloden. TV5's Chuck Scarborough has further details on the story.
About 2 years ago, a Dodge Coronet was coming down Highway 74 here at about 50 miles an hour. It had 2 men in it. They were heading for Forsyth. In those days, they didn't have such a big stop sign here at the intersection of 341 and 74. But the driver didn't see it. He ran through the stop sign at 50 miles an hour, slammed broadside into a tractor-trailer truck, and the car and truck drifted down about 100 yards before the wreckage came to a stop. The driver was killed on impact. He was crushed by the truck's rear wheels. But the passenger, Tom Glanton, was merely trapped inside the wreckage. A fire had broken out in the hood of the car that was, within moments, to reach the gas tank. An explosion would follow that would consume both the car and the truck. Glanton was a doomed man. You can still see the scorch spot on the highway 2 years after the accident. But in those moments between the time the car stopped and the fire, a man named James Brown, along with the help of 2 other citizens, managed to pull Tom Glanton from the wreckage and save him. Today, James Brown and Tom Glanton met again at the site of the wreck.
Hi, James. All right. You all right? Just fine. How are you? Good. It's good to see you. That's so glad to see you. Look at that as well. Well, you look real healthy today. Nobody late. Very good. Very good. It's real good to see you. That's so glad to see you, too. We pull off this old ragged hat one time. I think that we both have some pretty
memorable moments of something that happened out here 2 years ago.
I did too, but been put a good while there to still. That won't never forget us, though. But
well, I won't forget it, and I'm sure you won't.
No, sir.
I'm deeply indebted to you for what you did for me on that occasion.
Appreciate it now.
I think the real positive thing that we both can remember about this is that two men came together, one white and one black.
Yes.
One relatively poor and one relatively prosperous, one educated and one uneducated.
Right.
And for a moment, all that was forgotten.
Yes.
And I think if more people would take advantages of the opportunities which are given them to do things for their fellow man, as you have done, then the world would be a lot better world than it is today.
I do. Sure do.
Blanton's gratitude led him to suggest to his state senator, Lamar Plunkett, that a special award be created to honor Brown and other heroes who usually go unnoticed. Blanton also started a movement that netted a Carnegie Bronze Medal and Hero Award of $750 for Brown, a national honor. Recognition has been a long time coming for James Brown. He's been driving trucks every day except Sunday for 30 years, and he's seen a lot of people hurt on the road. He's helped as many as he could.
But any time that I can see I can help anybody on the road, and I've been traveling on the road for 30 years, and I've seen a many accidents, but any time that I can see that I can save somebody's life, I try my level best to do it. Well, I wouldn't,
even at the risk of your own.
That's true. I wasn't so much worrying about burning up, but I just hate to see this man get burned up. You know, that's bad to see somebody lie to burn up. I said, well, if we burn up, we just burn up together, because I'm sure going to try to get him out. And I got him out, too. And if them wheels had divided on that other man, I'd have got him out, but wasn't nothing in the world that I could do.
From Culloden, Georgia, this is Chuck Scarborough, TV5 News.
Atlanta police are continuing their search today for masked gunmen who were the hosts at a party which turned into a mass robbery here in Atlanta early yesterday following the Clay Quarry fight. When 100 guests arrived individually, the two men, armed with shotguns, met them at the door, forced them to disrobe, and before it was over, the bandits escaped with almost $200,000 in money and jewels, along with two women hostages. One was later released. Dave Michaels is a hostage at the Weather Board, and we'll join him there in just a moment.
Belk salutes your budget. Save your American dollar. Celebrate while you save now during Belk Day sale. Only $35 for the new Bright Look coat in crinkly patent vinyl. Belting a meaty length or trimming a fabulous fake fur mini. Usually $40 you save on these fashion leaders. Or choose the classic beauty of colorful textured wool and face-flattering mink at only $58. You save $32 on this unusual fashion value. At your nearest Belk.
The Hill Brothers shoe buyer knew that crinkle patents were going to be big, so he got on the hotline and ordered thousands of them. And because he bought so many pairs, he got them at a rock-bottom price. Then he had them delivered to you at your Hill Brothers store. It's no wonder the Hill Brothers buyer makes you the world's smartest shoe buyer, with values like these crinkle patents at only $3.99.
Head for the Hills, where the price is right.
Right.
This one's from Bev. What did Stainless steel, Bev, just what we wanted. Joe will just love it.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. It's the mantilla pattern.
Oh.
Mantilla.
Bev knows about the small ones. Jan! They match! What a coincidence!
Yes, isn't it?
Mantilla's solid stainless steel flatware really does make a very nice gift. The fact that a 5-piece place setting costs only $1.19 with the purchase of 8 or more gallons of gasoline at your Gulf station is, well, incidental. And the fact that you can get the same kind of bargains on Mantilla accessory pieces, well, it's the gift that counts.
Edie, steak knives, and they're the same pattern. Oh, how wonderful.
Look for this sign and get yourself some beautiful Mantilla flatware, or give it as a gift. Actually, nobody will know you got it at Gulf, unless they got it at Gulf.
You got a little blue plate special on the weatherboard there for us?
Keep laughing and smiling till the little red lights go off.
Yes.
That's what that looks like. Yes, I have a little drizzle, a little rain coming up. Yesterday, we didn't mention any shower activity, although it was really in my bones. I should have mentioned something about it, because I just looked out. I usually look outside before I come on the air. It's the safest thing to do during the weather. I said, I bet you it's going to rain tomorrow, and I didn't say it. But today I'll say it's going to rain tomorrow. I think it's drizzling a little bit now. We've had just a trace of rainfall over the Atlanta area during the night. We have high pressure over the middle Atlantic states, which is bringing our winds out of the east, and this is drifting away with this cool front pushing in over the Mississippi Valley region, and it's moving very slowly. It's almost a stationary front, but sometime tomorrow it'll be just pushing into western Alabama with thunder shower activity all along the front up over the Great Lakes region. Behind it, it's raining lightly. About 150 miles behind it, it's starting to clear, so that's going to be our weather story over the next couple of days. The extended forecast calls for some shower activity Friday and possibly Saturday as well. It's very cool over the middle plains area with this high pressure pulling cold Canadian air out over the border. Generally fair and warm over the California region. So we are in for some shower activity at least over the next couple of days as that front draws near. Let's take a look at the records. The record high came on this date in the year 1940 when it was 86 degrees. The record low in 1957 on this date, it was 31. Yesterday we had a high of 70 degrees. This morning 53 degrees was our low. Just a trace of rainfall out at the airport. Let's take a look at the forecast for Atlanta and vicinity. The official temperature out of the Weather Bureau is 57 degrees. It's cloudy at the moment. And the forecast, cloudy and cool with occasional drizzle through Thursday, turning into showers sometime tomorrow. About a 50 or 60% chance of showers tomorrow. High today and tomorrow, 64 degrees. The low tonight about 53 degrees. The relative humidity is 80% at the moment. For Wembley, I don't think we're going to put too happy a face on old Wembley like that. We'll have to see what those showers do to us over the next couple of days and into the start of the weekend. Jim, you must be next.
I am.
Right.
Yes. Only 6 days from now, you'll be asked to go to the polls and cast your vote on some amendments as well as some candidates. Here with TV5 editorial comment on one is Ray Moore.
Amendment number 13 on your ballot next Tuesday is another tax exemption amendment. It would exempt peanuts grown in this state and stored in licensed warehouses from all ad valorem taxation. There are strong arguments for and against it. Those for it say it'll strengthen Georgia's peanut industry, which feeds about $350 million a year into the state's economy. They note that Georgia grows more than 38% of the nation's peanuts and needs to attract more peanut processors into the state. They say tax policies that would send peanuts out of the state won't help this. They say the tax exemption proposed in this amendment is provided now by our neighboring states, and Georgia needs to be competitive. We need to encourage the commercial expansion of this major Georgia crop and not set up tax barriers. Well, those are strong arguments for it. Those against it argue that this is special treatment for one product that'll open the way for others. If peanuts are exempt, why not cotton and cattle and trees, all of which are part of our economy? The ad valorem tax money which is involved here goes to the county and the local schools, which are hard-pressed. Opponents say Amendment 13 is another move to reduce the tax base on which counties and schools must operate and would increase the tax load on the homeowner. If the peanut industry is hurt by policies that are out of balance with other states, they say the proper relief should be provided by tax credits granted at the state level and not by forcing counties to take the loss. The Georgia Tax Assessors Association and the Georgia Municipal Association are both opposing Amendment 13. TV5 recognizes the need for encouraging industry, especially that tied to our agriculture. But the real need is for overall tax reforms and not an array of exemptions that sap the income of local government. TV5 opposes number 13. And in doing so, we call again for the broad revision of tax laws and policies Georgia urgently needs.
Your comments are always welcome, but we don't know what your opinion is unless you write, so take the time. Let us know how you feel. In a moment, the saga of the Glass Road, and Don Smith, our theater critic, is with us, so stay tuned. It should prove interesting.
A lean streak of tweed with a Midas touch, very much in the now mood at Rich's. More evening shimmer, a long sweep of tinsel brocade to highlight your grand season. Two of many after 5 fashions awaiting you at Rich's.
Get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loaves of batter-whipped Sunbeam free if you find 1 slice of Sunbeam white bread with a hole this big. Sunbeam whips out holes that cause fast staling, whips in freshness. Nobody else makes Sunbeam's 5 free loaf product guarantee. Sunbeam, the bread the kids are talking about when they say,
"Look, Mom, no holes."
Kmart, the sign of good things in store.
Thursday through Sunday, all Kmarts hail the age of AccuColor during the grand opening of their new store at Glenwood Road and I-20 East. See this RCA AccuColor TV and celebrate Kmart's low discount price during the savingest grand opening ever.
How can you turn garbage and everyday refuse into a better way of life? Well, that's a question that's been plaguing ecologists for quite a while now, and all of the brainstorming that has been done has proved to be fruitful in at least some areas. One we hear about from Terry Drinkwater.
What to do with a no-deposit, no-return bottle? One answer, break it, crush it, grind it up, and recycle it, as the ecologists say. Recycle it into a road. Here in the Los Angeles suburb of Fullerton, California, engineers think they have mastered a new fine art of making glass roads. The ground-up glass is mixed with a little asphalt and pebbles and spread 3 inches thick over Raymer Avenue, the first street in the nation to be paved with glass. It makes a tough, hard surface. They call it glassfalt. College students at the University of Missouri first came up with the idea. For everyone concerned, there's a saving. The bottle makers like it because instead of littering the highways with their products, now the bottles can be put to a second use. For the road builders, there's a saving too because the broken glass costs less than what they usually use, crushed limestone. All of this is an experiment. For the driver, though, there is one frightening question. Will the jagged edges of the glass eventually stick up and blow out your tires? Initial tests indicate no, it's safe. If the experiment does work, in the years to come, glassfalt may in fact replace all of those beer and soda pop bottles now along the side of the road. Terry Drinkwater, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Stock in glass roads may be up, but most other stocks appear to be down today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average at noon stands at 750.82. That's down more than 3.5 points. An average share of common stock on the New York Exchange lost 13 cents in morning trading. Sales amounted to 4,290,000 shares. Things are down. But things are up here. TV5 theater critic Don Smith has returned from the latest of his many travels. Don?
Things are up to here, okay. A new film called Monty Walsh will open this week in Atlanta. It stars Lee Marvin, Jack Palance, and Jean Moreau, and is billed as a real Western. And sadly, it does not live up to its advertising. What it is a romanticized, unconvincing picture of the decline of the cowboy. Although it does go to considerable lengths to do some things realistically, many of its big scenes don't bother to be very logical. The worst example, one in which Lee Marvin busts a bronco and in the process destroys quite a lot of property and makes very much noise. Despite that, nobody comes out to see what's going on, and no explanation is made of who pays for all the crockery he breaks up. And for a movie that claims to be about the real West, that is a fault. If you're a Lee Marvin fan, you may enjoy this one, but if you like honest Westerns, don't bother.
Okay, when will you be back, and what will we hear about next?
The Baby Maker.
The Baby Maker. When will that
Tomorrow.
review come? Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you then. Don, I know that you're going to enjoy our final story. Chris Mao is a teacher, but the 24-year-old Chris's real love is the theater. So he joined some local players in a fall production. Now he can tell his friends that he's finally made it in the world of show business. Oh yes, Chris's role requires him to play a body lying on his face on stage for 2 full hours. That's our time for now. Thanks for yours. Have a good day.
Portions of this program were pre-recorded.